Hi everyone, back with another video on the house. We bought this house in July 2022. One of the first things we noticed was a major rat infestation in the loft. So now it's January 2023, and the majority of this was actually filmed in August and September 2022. The reason for that is the solution to the rat infestation was maybe not what I was thinking it would be. So stay tuned for that, because it's yeah, a bit different. Anyway, let's get to the video. Rat traps ready to kill some vermin. We got a couple of traditional rat traps with metal lever. This ultra power rat trap, like the professionals use apparently. The jaws of life. Couple of small mouse traps just in case there's some smaller creatures that would like a little treat, and some fresh tasty mouse and rat attractant, safe for children and pets. Hopefully this will lure them in. Alright, let's set it up. Check out the power on this bad boy. Set up, ready to go. There's this middle bar here that will release the spring when this paddle is stood on. Here we go. Watch this. Tiny little tap. Bam. I'm pretty sure no rodent is going to survive that. I'm up in the loft. This is the scene of the crime. All the little black dots you can see on the insulation are what looks like rat poo, which is just lovely. It's a balmy 20-degree day. All I can smell up here is urine. There you go. Close up of the poo for you. The poo's about a centimetre long, and they are everywhere. Look at it. You know me. You can see little tunnels everywhere in the insulation, and quite obvious places they are going. Little paths walked into the insulation everywhere. So, just going to try and find the best place to put these. Here we go. Locked and loaded. Ready to take down some victims. We've got the ultimate spine cruncher there, whatever it was called. I've got a big rat trap here. You can see a very clear path under this lovely water tank. Got a little rat trap there. That's a mouse trap actually. Another small little mouse trap here. Mainly in places where there's very clear evidence of rats. And another big rat trap down here, right at the entrance of a tunnel. So we'll give it a couple of days and we'll come back, see if we caught anything. It's the day after the traps have been set. Let's see if we've caught anything for dinner. Let's go and investigate. First trap. Empty. Interesting. All the traps are empty. Not what I was expecting. The smell of wee up here is even stronger than yesterday. I wonder why No rats have gone for the bait. Maybe the poo up here is very old and they're no longer nesting, but I'd be surprised. Because there is poo literally everywhere. Stay tuned. Okay, it's been a while since the last update, probably a few weeks. It's been really busy moving in, trying to get loads of jobs done. So update on the rat situation. So we've taken out all the insulation, which is not a fun job, by the way. Very itchy, very hot and sweaty, and in my case, disgusting, full of rat poo and wee. So we've taken out all of that. Since then, we've disinfected the entire loft. So now, still a hint of urine, but it smells like strawberry disinfectant. And now, what else have I done? All the insulation out, disinfected, hoovered everything, so there was rat poo everywhere, hoovered the whole loft out. I just want to jump in here and add in a couple of points. So first, when we bought this house, we knew we wanted to install a new boiler straight away, because the old one was not that old actually, but all the pipe work and header tanks, etc. were super old. So we wanted all the tanks, all the water tanks taken out of the roof, because I hate the idea of having a pool of water sat in your loft for things to crawl in and out of, and you're drinking that same water. We also had a hot water expansion tank in bedroom 2 inside a cupboard, and I wanted to knock down that cupboard, which I'll show you a photo of now actually, because I wanted more space in that bedroom. So everything got ripped out. The hot water tank, header tank in the loft for drinking water, expansion tank in the loft for, I think it's for central heating. There's about 3 tanks up here, and it was actually really lucky that we were going to get all those tanks ripped out anyway, because what we found was an absolute horror show. I'll bring up the footage now if I can find it. It might be the wrong aspect ratio, you'd have to excuse that, but what I found was the old water tank, which is made out of asbestos, really big tank. When I took the lid off, it was full of scum and grime. The bottom had a layer of orange slimy substance. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just a really old tank that's never been cleaned or flushed. I didn't think much of it, but when the plumber came to empty that tank, they were in for a big shock. So that tank, which was drinking water, emphasise that point, that tank was full of dead rats. So in the bottom of that tank there's about 20 different carcasses of various states of decaying rats. So most of it was bones, but there were still chunks of fur, a few chunks of flesh here and there. It was absolutely horrific. And I kind of feel bad for the old boy that was living here before we were. He was drinking that water for the best, well, they'd owned this house since it was built in 1965. So who knows how many years he was drinking that rat soup for. Horrific. So it was a really good job. We got all that stuff ripped out, and now we just have a one combi boiler that feeds all the hot water and the bathroom. And whilst we were removing the insulation that was all covered in rodent feces, we did find 2 full-size rats that were dead up here, really crispy. So they must have been up here for years, because they were like mummified rats. So yeah, anyway, I'm super happy we found that issue. If we'd have moved in and started drinking that water, I would have been absolutely horrified. So glad we found it when we did, had all the system flushed through, all the old tanks ripped out, and a new system installed. So yeah. In the loft I found 4 places where there was evidence of rats coming in from the outside, and I want to show you what I've done to block up those places where they were coming in. So just down in that bottom corner, you can see that nail behind the mesh. That's where they were coming in previously. There was trails in the old insulation leading to that corner, just there. There were three other locations in the loft where they were coming in from outside, or at least from within the cavity walls. So I went and bought some wire mesh from B&Q, and it was quite easy to cut and form to fill this void completely, and then just use some metal staples to hold it all firmly in place. So it's stapled to the plasterboard, it's stapled to these rafters going up, stapled everywhere I possibly could. You can see just down here on the roof there's some pine board, so it's all stapled to that as well, through the felt behind there. So that's what I did. There's been no signs of any rats coming through since, which is good. I put a block of rat poison there just in case. That's not been chewed on, so I'm assuming all is good. And again, none of the rat traps have been set off, so I think it's working. Just to show you a bit better, this is the mesh I purchased from B&Q. I think it came in like a meter roll or something. The square holes are about 6mm across, so I don't think anything will get through that. So there was that. I used some workshop scissors from my bicycle mechanic days. These cut through wire really easy. A set of those, and then just a classic Stanley stapler with some metal staples to hold the wire in place. See, I did one there in this corner. There was one over there roughly. There was one a bit further back in that dark corner over there. And then behind me there was also one mirrored in that corner. So in all four locations I just did that, and that seems to be working quite well. So where are all the rats? We've had traps set in this loft for a few months, caught absolutely nothing. Had rat poison down, no nibbles, not had any scratching at night, which you'd normally hear. We had temperatures below freezing, which is normally when rats will try and find a warmer place to sleep. And again, nothing, no change. So eventually we did speak to the neighbours, and they had the same issue. So they bought the house last year, which is 2022, and their loft insulation was similar, covered in rat feces, absolutely stunk, disgusting mess. They ripped out the whole lot, re-insulated, set traps, and again, caught absolutely nothing. So it told me something interesting. So the person that lived in their house before them used to feed birds like crazy. So much so that all the neighbours have fitted bird spikes on all their roofs, garages, everything to stop them damaging the roofs. And the amount of birds she would have in her garden apparently was ridiculous. So the birds would feed on those bird feeders, the seed was dropping on the floor, and that caused a huge rat problem in this area. So at night there's rats running on everyone's gardens, finding shelter in people's lofts wherever they could. And people were hiring exterminators left, right and centre to try and get rid of the rats, but the neighbour next door, who no longer lives there, was causing the problem by feeding birds. Who would have thought it? She absolutely devastated her own house, our house, the next door neighbours, and multiple houses around the area. So although I didn't find any rats, and there's a bit of a mystery, it seems like they may have already left the area or already have been culled at some point. So yeah, bit of a weird one. I was expecting, looking at the state of my loft at the start of the video, you would have seen there's just rat poo everywhere. It was disgusting. But it seems like it was actually a legacy problem, which kind of also explains why the dead rats I did find in my loft were crispy and looked years old. The carcasses we found in the water tank were also almost fully decomposed. No fresh rodents had fallen in that water. So yeah, a bit of an unusual one. So that I didn't really solve the rat problem. There isn't one to be solved anymore. But the preventative measures I've put in place by blocking the holes and setting traps should hopefully mean they don't come back again. But anyway, let's go back to the video and I'll show you the final parts of the insulation. Cool. Right, so I'm just stood at the top of the ladder, and this is the new insulation. So what we've got is a layer of 170mm thick Knauf Eco Roll in between the joists, the rafters, whatever the hell they're called. And then on top of that, I've got a 200mm layer to top it up. So all around the loft, I went throughout the whole loft with the 170mm and the 200mm on top. If I pan round, you'll notice I also did something else. Wonderful little bit of loft storage there. So use that Eco Roll throughout the entire loft. Good stuff. Not very itchy. You don't have to use it with mask and goggles, but I definitely recommend it. It still is a little bit itchy, but not too bad. And then over here, with the help of my brother, we used a Loft stilt system from B&Q. These plastic stilts, the 270mm tall. Fixing down the bottom with a screw either side, or use as many as you like, just use one either side. There's one every about 350mm, something like that. This one there. Had to chop a few around a couple of these upright supports. And yeah, put the boards on top. Gave me a little bit of storage. I don't need much. Christmas tree, suitcase, a couple of boxes for other things, and that's it. It's really sturdy actually, even though it's just plastic. If I climb over and stand on it and show you, it's not just for show. Here I am, with my lovely DIY trainers on. Yeah, sturdy. This edge here overhangs the plastic supports, which is why I've got do not stand, not supported, but it's fine for an empty suitcase or a box. You can see there a bit more of the insulation work all the way to the back. Not the best job because I can't stand up in this loft, but it's okay. There we are. Right, slightly better view from here. The loft hatch. New LED light up here. I'll say new. I took that out of the kitchen and put it up in the loft because it's much brighter than the old fluorescent tube. Look at that. Beauty. Absolute beauty, mate. Really happy with that. Smells good, disinfected, rat free and insulated. So kind of job done up here for now, I think. I might add some more storage around the edges here just so it's easy access from the loft hatch, but I probably won't because I don't really need it. What I would say is if you're going to tackle your insulation yourself, make sure you get a full bodysuit. You get disposable ones from B&Q for a couple of quid. Make sure you're wearing a mask, goggles, gloves. If you don't wear that, you'll regret it. You'll be so itchy, you'll be coughing, your eyes will be itchy, and it's really not worth it. You have no idea what you're breathing in. So just wear all the gear. Makes it much easier. As soon as you're done, take your clothes off, get in the shower. You probably still have itchy arms for the rest of the day, but you'll stop most of it if you wear a full bodysuit. That brings the rat and insulation video to a close. Let me know if you've had any issues with rats in the past and how you got rid of them, because I'm sure this won't be the last time I'll be dealing with rats in my life. So yeah, just comment down below. And then insulation wise, I didn't film removal of the insulation because it was just too dirty and disgusting. Touching my camera with rat poo hands didn't really sound very appealing to me, so yeah, I didn't film that. But again, let me know what you think of the insulation job. Pretty horrible to take out, but quite easy to install, so yeah. As usual, if you like the video, like it. If you want to see more videos, maybe with less rat content, but yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe. And as usual, I'll see you in the next one. Cheerios!